Did you know Americans eat 350 slices of pizza every second? That equates out to 100 acres of pizza every single day. To put that into perspective, it is enough pizza to cover almost 76 NFL-sized football fields. So it's safe to say Americans really love their pizza. But what is the best way to get pizza? You have a plethora of options, from going to a restaurant, picking up carryout, grabbing one from the frozen section of your local grocery store, or even ordering delivery to your front door. But not all pizzas or prices of those pizzas are created equally. And we want to know if making pizza at home is actually more beneficial over buying one that's already made. Now, YouTube creator Ethan Chlebowski has a pizza recipe that he says he makes once or twice a week.
This is the pizza that I literally make at least once a week, sometimes twice a week.
We want to see if he has actually come up with a cost-effective way to help you get your pizza fix, or if other options might just be better for you. So let's give this a try. First, we make the dough by adding 200 grams of bread flour with 50 grams of wheat flour, 6 grams of salt, 4 grams of yeast, and 75 grams of warm water. We will then mix all those ingredients by hand until we get a nice sticky, shaggy dough. Then we'll set that in our bowl, cover it, and set it aside for 20 minutes. During those 20 minutes, we will start making our sauce, which we will slice up 800 grams of tomatoes into evenly sized pieces so everything cooks at the same rate. Put that into a pot with 3 garlic cloves that are smashed, 15 grams of butter, 1/4 of an onion, and 1 big pinch of salt. Set that on the stove in medium to low heat and cover with a lid. Now that our dough has been sitting for roughly 20 minutes, we'll go ahead and take the lid off. Go ahead, punch it down, pull the gas out of it. You just kind of want to move it around a little bit just to degas it. You're going to put that right back in the bowl, put the lid back over top, and let that set aside for another 20 minutes. While that's sitting aside, we're going to go ahead and shred our cheese. I got a giant block of mozzarella here. I shredded about half of the block, and that's what I wanted to use for our pizza. You can use as much cheese or as little cheese as you prefer. Let's go back and check on our sauce. Looks like everything's starting to release all the juices, so we'll go ahead and stir that up real quick, just to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom and we get a nice even cook throughout. Now we'll take our baking dish and we will layer it with some oil. We lay down this coat of olive oil, and as you can see, I'll spread it around with my hand just to make sure I know that the entire pan is coated so that nothing will stick when we actually get done baking our pizza. Now our sauce has been cooking for about 40 minutes, so we'll go ahead and take that out. And I struggled really hard here, so off camera, my cameraman helped me spatula it out into these containers. Once in those containers, you will add some basil. I added about a teaspoon in total between both of these containers, so 2 teaspoons. Take my immersion blender and blend up each one of these containers. Now, if you don't have an immersion blender, I understand that. You can throw it in a regular blender, same thing. I just like using this one because it's easier to clean than cleaning out my blender. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and add salt to taste, and there is your pizza sauce. We'll grab our dough, put it in our baking pan, and we'll start to stretch that out. Just push it until it reaches the edges of the pan. If it doesn't quite reach all the way to the edge of the pan, just go ahead and set it aside, let it rest for 5 minutes. It'll become a lot easier after it's rested to get those edges to reach the edge of the pan. Next, we will start to add our cheese and then realize we're not supposed to add the cheese yet. We're supposed to add our red pepper flakes and our oregano, which is okay. We'll just go back and add those now. As you can see, I only put the red pepper flakes on half the pizza because I'm eating this with my children and they don't really care for spicy food, but you do whatever you would like to do for your pizza. Then we will go ahead and add our cheese. Once we get the first layer of cheese down, we will add our 3 lines of our pizza sauce. Then after our 3 lines of pizza sauce are on there, we will add the rest of our cheese. Like I said, you can put as much or as little on there as you like. That will go into a 450 degree oven for about 20 minutes. Once you pull that out, you will go ahead and remove it from your pan and slide it onto a cooling rack. Now we're going to let that rest for roughly 5 minutes, but while it's resting, we will go ahead and add on our shredded Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And again, put on as much or as little as you like. I just like to do a nice even coating. Now we want to take our pizza and put it on a cutting surface of some kind and start cutting our slices. You should do one cut that is across it in the middle horizontally. Do another center cut in the middle of it vertically, and then you will split up the vertical cut into the middle of what is left on both sides, and that will leave you with your 8 pieces of pizza. So basically it is half horizontal, half vertical, and then 2 halves again. Pretty simple. So now let's try our pizza.
This pizza costs $35 to put together. When you get all the ingredients for those $35, you want to know how many of these pizzas you can make? Just one. Because next time you go to make it, you're going to have to buy more tomatoes. So every time you go to make this pizza, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. And when you factor in that a frozen pizza will cost you roughly $5 to $8, and it takes about 15 minutes to throw together, and this one, even if you manage your time better than we did, it's taking you like an hour to an hour and 20 minutes to get done. You'd have to make like 100 of these pizzas to really get the dollar value associated with saving some money to make a homemade pizza. When you factor in the taste, yeah, it's good. But am I raving over this like I'd rather have this over a frozen pizza? Not with the time investment, not really. So for us, this one's gonna get a score of not worth it. If you want to give it a try one time just because you want to know for yourself, have at it. But if you're working on trying to save yourself some money, I wouldn't bother with it.